not quite toasty warm here yet. What I want to point out here is that watering. Well, in the forecast we have 2 weeks of, there's a shower here and there, but not that much. And for the next week at least, it's going to be hot every day. So if you live on the northeast coast of Newfoundland, remember you've got to be watering your garden. It's during the middle of the day. Well, it's 10 o'clock here now. It's going to get pretty hot here in the afternoon. And what I'm doing is every hour I'm going to come out and make sure these beds don't dry out, because I had to reset small seed here, and carrots especially. If they dry out, they're not going to germinate. So I've got to keep this moist, as I said in the previous video, until the carrots come up. But what I want to mention is that, okay, how much do you water, right? If you do a Google search, they'll tell you how much per week, and it's about a half an inch of water 2 or 3 times a week. So when I started the hand watering a few years ago, I realized I was going to have to water every day during the dry periods. I said, well, how much is a half inch of water? I found out, measured how much my pump would take out in a minute by just filling up the 2-gallon watering container and timing it. And then, well, the beds are 10 feet, so 120 inches by 36 inches by half inch deep. So how many gallons is that? I don't know right offhand, but calculate out how many gallons that is. So how long would it take the pump to actually pump that out? And then I set a timer on my phone, and I would stand here and I'd water back and forth the bed like this for that amount of time. You can't just hold the sprinkler like this and soak it and then go here, because most of the water just run right off. You've got to give it a little bit of water and keep moving, so that now this is soaking in over here while I'm going down the bed, and then I come back again and I allow that to soak in. So you're doing several passes. And I did that for quite some time, every 10 feet for that amount of time. I'll do that, because the beds down there, of course, they're longer, they're like 24 feet long. But over time, I got used to the pace I needed to go, that when the timer ran out, I was pretty much at an even number, at a full number of beds. Like I started out at one end, I'd go back, and when the timer ran out, I was pretty much at the end of the bed. And I paced myself out so that 8 times, 8 passes back and forth this bed would give me that half inch of water. So now I don't have to time myself anymore, because I'm used to the pace, and I go at that pace, and I can go down by the 24-foot bed, and I can walk back and forth the bed at that same pace, make 8 passes. So one way is 1 pass, back again, that's the second pass. But it takes a few times, of course, to get used to it and the pace that you have to go, right? And it depends. Like, I could stand here in the middle and I could do this. So this is about the right pace that I'm having to go from my pump. But if your pump putting out more water, of course you'd have to go faster. But as I do this, when I get out near the end, the water's more spread out. So at the last bit I have to remember to stop for a couple seconds and then come back. Otherwise the ends will get a lot less water. The other thing I could do is walk back and forth. Sometimes that's nicer. But sometimes is situations I want to just stand there in the one spot and then water that spot, because I mean I can go right the full 10 feet. I don't have to, it's not a little short area I'm doing, and do the long bed 10 feet at a time. Right now what I'm doing, I'm not having to count how long I'm doing it, just because I'm just keeping the surface of the soil wet so that those seeds would germinate. The bigger the seed, the easier it is to get them to, well, the less you need to keep the surface dry, because those little tiny seeds, they're just barely on the surface. Basically you sprinkle them on the surface and you water them in, and so they can dry out so fast. Here I've got spinach seed, which is about twice the size of a rutabaga seed, turnip seed. And in the one behind me, of course, I bought the sugar beet seed, which is a fairly large seed. I probably don't need to worry about that. My every third day watering might be enough for them. But since I'm coming out here once every hour anyway, I'll keep that bed behind me moist as well. Good morning, good morning. Well, we have a thing of beauty. Well, I think it's a thing of beauty anyway. I'll turn the camera around and show you. I've been mowing. I got all the pathways mowed. Grapevine's taking over this side, so we'll just walk around. So of course I got to mow my pathway into the shed. Right down between the, on this side is all Italian oregano. There is the occasional mint there. On this side is all mint. I think I have to widen it out a bit for you. There we go. So you got mint all down here, Italian oregano all down here. Eventually I'll have a pathway up here once I get to deal with that, but not right now. And then we walk down through here, the clematis and the rose bush. And pathway there over to the deck. We walk down, we got our tomatoes. All mowed around the lilac bush. Now I made a mistake because I was coming up from this side and I went in here, and then when I got mowed around the snowball bush there, I came over and was mowing around this and realized there was hardly any left here between this pathway and what I was mowing there, so I mowed that. In the future I'll just have this mowed out here, probably the end mowed off this and just over around. Might have this actually entire area mowed in between the lilac bush and the snowball bush. And then we go down here. As you can see, there's quite a few different flowers in the meadow. I got a wildflower meadow here that blooms pretty much all year, and here's the other tomatoes. Well, I was waiting for the parade. I don't know if I already said this or no, but I did weed out along by the fence there, and now I've got it mowed either side nicely down, so we walk along. Right now the cucumbers, Greek oregano, cosmos. And I'll stand right here because there's a nice beautiful shot. You see? Mostly dandelions now, but there's many different species of flowers, so it'll be a meadow of flowers pretty much all the growing season. I think that's a little too far out. About right there. And we got a pathway up either side of the fence. Eventually, I guess I got to put a little bit of a mow out around the St. John's wort there and see what I'm going to plant in under the red maple. But at any rate, I will still come back and we'll go up this pathway right here. Mowed around the Romeo cherry. I will eventually finish mowing around this bush so I can get at it at all circles, eh? Showing up now, our Juliet cherry and the pear tree. Oh, I forgot. I've got to mow across here because we have this bed right here. All the way around. Guess I got to make another strip too. I mean, too close to bushes there. Then they come back, and we'd have a widened part here, of course. And it's mowed around this one. We can walk up either side. Same thing here. Drooping from the heat, I guess. That was actually a mistake too. I don't think I'm going to be mowing that, because I was supposed to come up here. When I came up there, I had forgotten. I have this tree here, right? So it's mowed around. There's another Greek oregano in here, and there was something. I don't know if I still got it up the other side, but there's a little planting area underneath this tree, right? And the currant bush, you see the pathway going along the edge of the sunny plot right there. Then we have a pathway down either side of this raised bed. I mowed a little bit in there, but I have to take the wood chips and make this level, because in there it's really rough, and it's a danger trying to do that with the lawnmower with it being so rough. Mow around Pixwell gooseberry. I always forget the name of that. I think I have it recorded somewhere, but we're mowing around there and in the other ones. I'll tell you about that cherry tree and that little one over there in the next video, or the one after, something. In a soon coming video. So we'll have a pathway down here, and that's the end of the planting area here now. Remember, there's going to be seaberry going in there. So we can walk down here. I couldn't get in there yet because I have to deal with how I'm going to fence in the raspberries. And then of course, planting here, you see I've got it cleared out. And a walkway that goes down there. This is going to be asparagus and strawberries eventually. And we walk here. There's going to be a pathway there up to the hen house. This is all mowed. Now I'm on two minds now whether I should be starting a refresh of a raspberry patch. My raspberry patches don't do really well, so I don't think so. I think I'm just going to have like transplants putting in here, like squash and tomatoes, whatever. A little narrow pathway there. The reason for that is I got those pipes in there, so I only had one little narrow part. I walk in there and I mow along and under the apple tree. Speaking of the apple tree, ooh, this zoom is a little too fast. My other phone didn't zoom at all. But you see that there where the tree goes right over against the hen house? I'm thinking that's how the mink got into the hen house. He jumped from the apple tree to the roof of the hen house. Of course, you know, we're working on that, but we're talking about the meadow pathways now. So we had that pathway there, and we come down here, another pathway. And I have this pathway here. And then you see, right down there. Let's turn around for a minute. So there's a pathway up alongside that side of the sunny plot. And then we go down here. And we're back to where we began. Right here by the house, I've got to do one of two things. I've either got to clean it all up and mow it, or I've got to have a planting area, plant shady things in. So it's July the 7th, you can see how the shade is there now. It gets sun, of course, early morning and late afternoon. Hostas will grow there, blueberries will grow there. Of course, rhubarb, we already know that. So would be perennials that I will put there. And a little bit spaced out, I think. So I either got to put a bed to grow things in, or I've got to continually mow it. What do you think is the best idea? Just leave me a comment, and I'm still in the decision mode. Anyway, I hope you, oh yeah, and so I have a road because I sold my truck. I'm getting an e-bike, so I won't, the driveway will grow up now, it'll be a meadow, and I'll just have a 3-foot wide pathway out to the road that I'm mowing. Hope you thought that was a nice beautiful walk along the meadow. I think it's a thing of beauty. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.